Hi there, I'm Angelique and welcome to the first episode of Design from a Distance. Before we get started, something very important that we must do, coffee. Now that we've got our coffee, we're ready to sit down and start learning about motion design. This episode is primarily going to be focused on building a mood board and finding inspiration for your project. So this can come about in a few different ways to start with because it depends on which question you're trying to answer. If you're working with a client, there'll be some kind of brief from the client, like, I need X, Y, and Z. You have to try to answer that question using your creative brain. Then you have to show it. And the best way to show your ideas without putting in tons of work, like creating artwork, is to find things that look similar to what you're envisioning with references. This is something that I just do all the time. If I'm scrolling through Instagram, I'm liking things from artists that I think, oh, I love that idea there, maybe I can use that somewhere later down the line. So essentially, you're developing the habit of gathering ideas every day and being able to pull from them later when answering a brief. For this personal project, I've created my own brief, which is to create an animated self-portrait and brand identity around my new YouTube channel. Using yourself as a subject is the easiest subject, it's the one you have the most access to. Doing a self-portrait is always a really good exercise. If you're in a creative rut or something, I like to do a self-portrait like once every year-ish. So let's switch over to my computer screen now and we'll start going through how I look for inspiration. So to begin with, we're going to start with finding references, and for my self-portrait, I wanted to explore some new design techniques that I haven't really been using a lot. Let's start with Instagram because that's something that most of us have and I think everybody's pretty familiar with. Also, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Angelique Amelie. I'm going to try and start posting some little tips and tricks for After Effects, so please give me a follow. So we're going to just quickly take a look at my saved tab, and you can see that I have saved a lot of artwork, color inspiration, funny things, like, isn't this hilarious, Baby Yoda? So this is where I start, okay, what have I seen recently on my Instagram that I liked? Go through my likes and save any images that stand out to me. So if I like this one, I would just screenshot it. On a PC it's a little annoying, but use the snipping tool. Doesn't have to be perfect because it's just for a reference. So now I'm going to save that. The next thing that we should talk about while we're doing this is a folder structure. I have developed a folder structure that works for me. What I do is not what everybody should do, so if this doesn't work for you and you have a different way of laying things out, it's totally fine as long as you're consistent with it and you use it correctly. The longer a project goes on, the harder it can be to keep track of every element inside a project, so I highly recommend figuring out a folder structure that works for you. I have, you can see here, project files, references, assets, documents, and renders. References is what we're going to be working with today. I'm going to save this image in my references folder. Label the file with the name of the artist so that you can find it again later if you need to. And then 01, because maybe there's another image of hers that I like later on, so I might have more than one of hers. Okay, great. So save that. So now you understand how to save your references. That's Instagram. You can go anywhere, literally anywhere on the web. If you like Pinterest, use Pinterest. I'll just show you three more. Vimeo is great for videos. It can be hard to search specifically for motion design. Every time I follow someone, I find more. There's a great website called motionographer.com. Highly recommend you take a look, and it's a great place to start if you want to look at animation ideas. So I've got all of the videos that I've liked on here. Some of them are pieces that my friends have made, and others are people I have no idea about from other countries, etc. Whatever tickles your fancy, just log it somewhere whenever you're hunting around on the internet, which is something that I'm doing rather often. Dribbble is another one. Great place where designers upload amazing work all the time. And you can create something called baskets or something, or collections. Oh, I thought they were called baskets. Wouldn't that make sense? Because it's a basketball? I don't know. Anyway, so I created different ones here. This one I made specifically for this project, so they're all portrait related. The world is your oyster. Go and get it. Then also Behance is the Adobe portfolio website. Definitely, I recommend starting to use that. You know, finding people on there that you like and sharing your artwork on there as well. But there's tons more. This is not all you should use. Go wild and free and hunt through the internet at your leisure. Now that you know how to get references, pause the video and like do that, get all the references that you want, and then come back here and we can start part 2, which is putting them together in the mood board. I have all my references in my reference image folder. If you're using a PC like me, I kind of hate the Explorer, so especially for looking at images. So I recommend using Adobe Bridge if you don't already. It's just a better way to see all the images together. I think it's cleaner. Again, another non-spun Adobe Creative Cloud product. There's also some tools in there that I like to use, like a batch renaming tool if I have like an image sequence. If you don't know what that is, we'll talk about it later. So now I'm ready to put them into a mood board, right? Here's one I created earlier. Wait, where did I put it? This is my mood board. So here we have some of the images that I found online. Also, because it's a self-portrait, I included a little picture of me in there. This is from almost a year ago now. My hair is quite different there. If you notice, in this version that I have on my desktop, my hair represents more what it looked like there, and now it doesn't look like that anymore, so I had to update it in the animation. And then I have a couple of pictures of my space. That's my computer there. That's some of my plants. I love plants. Took is hanging out, just doing her thing. These are the images that I liked the most. I just, you know, arranged them here, brought each one in as its own layer, and just, you know, move things around. If you put auto select on up here, if you have a lot of images, maybe that's helpful to you so that you can grab them and then it auto selects that layer rather than being stuck on whatever layer you're selected on over here in the layers panel. So you can either do it this way, or you could use an app such as Milanote that I've seen a lot of people using recently. I myself watch a lot of YouTube tutorials, and I've been seeing a lot of motion designers using this Milanote app. So I'll quickly show you that. This is a mood board that I created for a client. Some of the images here are images of my work because the client liked certain things that I had done before, and then I also hunted around online and found other images that I thought could work for styling. And some of these are actually links to videos, so if you go click on any of them, you can play the video. If I'm referencing a animation note or something, then they can see the movement, you know, it's not just images. So this has been super helpful actually this year working with clients, because when you're not going to meetings in person, I can just send a link to this and to the client, and they can view everything and click on all the links. It's a really great way to communicate your ideas, so I was really happy with using this. The third thing that you should probably start thinking about at this point is a color scheme, and there are some really fun tools online to do that. I'm going to show you two. There are probably many others, but these are the two that I'm going to show you. This one is called coolors.co. I made a little account on here. It's all free, so you can do this too. What's cool about it is you don't have to do anything off the bat. You can just click start the generator. Hello, ready to see how fun? Yes, very good. Hit spacebar and it creates a color scheme for you. Isn't that sick? I love this. It's great when you're just like, I don't know, what colors do I want to see? And this just like starts your brain thinking. So then you can do things like, and then lock this one, and then you want to see other alternatives to go with that color. So then it's locked that one and all the other ones are changing. Definitely have a play with this. And look, now I'm going to lock these two, and it's only changing. And then you can also add more colors. I think to start with, I would start with 4 to 5 colors. Getting too many more than that could get a little complicated to begin with, so start yourself off with 4 or 5 colors. Do what you need to do, but I would recommend starting simple. So then once you've got a color scheme that you like on here, you can just hit save, give it a name, hit save, and it goes into your collection of palettes. I'll just quickly show you mine. Here are some color schemes that I've saved already. I use this for jobs, I use it for personal stuff, or just for fun. The next one I'm going to show you is color.adobe.com. Alright, and this one's interesting because you can select rules. So if you want complementary colors, you want triad, you want compound. So these are all different rules of color. It'll lock your colors into a formation. So you can see on complementary, we've got opposite ends of the color wheel. And then say you like that, you can hit save, and if you are logged into your Creative Cloud account, that will automatically come into your Photoshop or your Illustrator. If you don't have that, that's fine. Just screenshot this and save it in your references folder that I showed you earlier. Put it together in your mood board here, or you can add it to your Milanote mood board, which is also free. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. So those are 2 apps that you can use to find color schemes. If your project involves a lot of typography, you would also probably want to include some examples of fonts that you want to use in your project. So to do that, super easy, go to fonts.adobe.com, and you can put your sample text in there. So put my name, and then I can scroll through and see examples of fonts in all sorts of styles. So you can refine your search results by clicking any of these tags here, or if you want, you want a sans serif font, here you go. Super narrow, bold, interesting. So definitely have a play in there if you're planning to use a lot of typography in your design. And then same thing, just screenshot what you see on the screen and bring it into your mood board. I think that pretty much covers mood boards for the most part. This is very much a new adventure for me, and I'm trying to be as concise as I can with these tutorials, but you know, it's probably going to be a little bit of a learning process for me, so please bear with me. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Also, don't forget to follow me on all my social medias. I'm at Angelique Amelie on pretty much all of them, but I'll put links somewhere here. Give me a like on this video if you liked it, please, and then give me a comment if you have any questions, or you just want to share your stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.